All right. Welcome, Mushin Warriors, to another episode of Mushin Mental Academy, Season 3 Mushin Mental Academy, where our purpose is to provide you the tools for engagement and presence. So let's jump right in. Purpose of Mushin Mental Academy, to make sure we're all on the same page for anyone joining us for the first time, is to bring together all of the tools that we use in day-to-day life that keep us balanced, that maintain this beautiful harmony with life, the ability to surf rather than feeling like we're being crashed upon all the waves. That's the purpose of this. And this particular video, this tool that I want to share with you is navigating hell and how to do this. So let's jump right in. So to start this video, I think it'll be useful to define what it is that I'm describing when I say hell. Well, my definition of hell is an environment or setting that seems to be in disharmony with ourselves, with our heart, and with what we want to see around us. It's a very clear state because it feels very uncomfortable. It feels like no matter what we do, it's almost like the world is rejecting us. Instead of having the Midas touch where everything turns to gold, everything we turns to shit. So, what are our options if we find ourselves in this hell? Well, I'd say we have several options. One option being to do the exact same things that we've been doing, not change at all. And oftentimes, this usually leads to remaining in the same environment, having the same results, and the same disharmony. Okay? So, let's say we don't want to spend our entire lives in this hell. Then what? What do we do then? Well, I'd say that brings us to a couple other options we have in front of us. One of the best options is that if we feel the environment around us isn't perfectly aligned with who we are and with what we want to see, with beauty, with life, we can take small actions to realign and harmonize this outer environment with our inner environment and with what we want to see. So that's pretty straightforward. It's just taking those small steps. Like, what can I do today that will help put me in a better situation? If it's a work environment, maybe if I position myself better, or if I make sure I'm getting enough exercise during the day, maybe I'll be happier while I'm in that work environment. Or maybe if I have better workmates, or whatever the case might be, we can take the steps to bring this outer environment into harmony so that everything flows. Beautiful. If that works, fantastic. But let's say you're in a situation where no matter what you do, you seem to be taking the right steps. You're following your heart. You're following what you find to be your purpose. But the outer environment is not conforming. It's doesn't want what you're giving. It's not buying what you're selling. Then what? What do? Well, that brings us to a few other options. So one option is to just grab it by the reins and become the devil of this hell. Take control of all of it, rise up through the ranks, and get to a position where you're able to control the environment and set everything up. You're no longer at the bottom of the totem pole. Cool. That is an option. It definitely feels a lot better than having to be in it, but now you're stuck to this environment. Like, you own this environment, it's part of you. And now, more than likely, it's had the ability to change you as well. So personally, I don't like this option. I would recommend a second option, which is to navigate through this hell and come out the other end pure. This is a lot trickier, but it's fantastic. To me, it's the same energy as the Big Bang. It is creation. And it's the ability to recognize your own heart, your own self, realize that it's not currently in harmony and interacting well with the environment, but then rather than choose to manipulate, change, and force our will onto either ourselves or the environment, what we do is we choose to stay true to who we are, do the best that we can in the environment and hold up, what it is that we need to hold up to survive and get what we need, but then create as much space, as much energy, generate as much energy as you possibly can to explode all the way through and out and reach this escape velocity, to which point you are uncatchable. This is the best recommendation I can give. This was my particular path, the one that I chose. I've been working since I was right out of high school, and I've always enjoyed, what I've done and who I've worked with. Don't get me wrong. I've thankfully been in a position where I got to choose where I was going. But even then, in each of the environments, when I was working for someone else, it felt like I wasn't in control, and it always seemed like the commitment was either not fully defined to the way that I like it, or I felt like I couldn't be complete within it. I felt like I couldn't be fully myself. So the last position I had actually before, only doing the companies that I founded is working as a systems analyst, and I loved it. I was, working with the recruiting firm for healthcare, getting a lot of people jobs, and it felt wonderful. But I noticed that there were a lot of paths that weren't completely in line with what I was doing. So I took that time to do my job, do what I needed to do. I still needed that paycheck to support myself and get food and, have that stability. But every moment that I had free, I was putting energy and time into creating space for myself to then be able to do what it is that I truly want. And through that process, while still working within a corporate environment, I was able to found Mushin Media with one of my dearest friends, Jacob, who I've been friends with since fourth grade. And within about a year of doing that and working full time at the corporate job, hosting karaoke at night, doing all this stuff where I'd, sometimes sleep for 2, 3 hours. But every moment that I had remaining, I would create space and take naps during work during my lunchtime. I'd literally sleep in the car. Whatever I had to do to save money and to create enough space so that when the opportunity came where I was able to actually move into a business development role for a recording studio for music, I had enough saved up and enough comfort to say, you know what? That's the one. I'm taking this chance. I have enough to support myself through this particular piece of it. I'm going to see what happens. And long story short, I find myself today where I'm the founder of two companies, Mushin Media and of Mushin Mental Academy that you're currently engaged with now. And I get to choose what I do every day. Right now there's nothing I'd rather be doing than being here with you, and this brings me joy. This brings me harmony, and it feels like every moment is synchronistic. I'm where I need to be. So I hope this brings value to anyone out there listening. You got this. No matter what, you got this. Take the steps that you feel you need for your life. And if you feel like you're ever in a position where, you are going through that hell, or you're in a state of disharmony, or the environment around you isn't perfectly aligned with what you feel it should be or how it could be, take notes. Utilize this time to take notes of all of the sections, all of these little discomforts, because that's how you'll be able to create the future you really want. You'll know clear as day which path to go, and you'll always know the answer because of this discomfort, because of this suffering. The two go hand in hand. So I'll leave you with this. And I appreciate you as always. Warriors, welcome to season 3. Be awesome, be beautiful, be yourselves.